What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with my three favorite prize picks for the Divisional Round NFL Playoffs. Coming to you guys right now. Hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell as we get going. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. You become a prize whenever great content is going live here over at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Alrighty, y'all. Again, I don't have anything from the Kansas City-Jacksonville game, so if you are tuning in right now a little bit later into Saturday, yay, you still have access. I believe it's 8:15 p.m. Eastern time, the start time of the Philadelphia and Giants game. Going to be looking forward to that one. We'll start with that. Then we'll cover two picks that I have from Sunday, one from each game. Kind of worked out nicely there, but nothing from Jacksonville, Kansas City. I want to pay attention to a little bit of the weather there, kind of couple of things to pay attention to, but also paying attention to prize picks. $100 first match deposit bonus up to $100. Good stuff. Good stuff. You deposit 20, you'll get 20. You deposit 100, you'll get 100. Put $1 and get a car. Put $1 and get a car. Always fun. Cool. Let's get to the board, shall we? Prize picks. We're playing player props over here. You have NBA, NHL, college basketball, NFL, soccer, CSGO, PGA. Unbelievable how much stuff there is to play over at Prize Picks. I love playing there. I hope you guys will too. But let's start off our card today with Jalen Hurts. We're talking, so again, out here on the West Coast, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. Started that Kansas City-Jacksonville game. We're going to be bypassing that one. We're going to be going straight to my guy Jalen Hurts here. And the talk of the town, his shoulder. How's his shoulder doing after he dinged it up there in Chicago on the frozen tundra of not Lambeau Field, Soldier Field? There you go. Bears are still terrible. Justin Fields needs help on the offensive line, but here we go. Jalen Hurts. I want 50.5 rushing yards. We're going to click on more Star Wars meme. Jalen Hurts. I think this is another week removed from being healthy. Them getting the 1 seed was gigantically important, ginormously important, whatever you want to say. Mend him up as much as possible. We saw him come back in week 18. Wasn't entirely back. Let's just be serious. Let's call a spade a spade. 20 for 35, throwing the football, 9 rushing attempts, only 13 yards there, but they were up a little bit early in that game, even though it looked better, 22-16 to finish there. Philadelphia still was pretty comfortable. They were playing get close to the chest, and the Giants rested their entire starting group, so they were just trying not to turn the football over and do whatever else. This is a completely different situation. Pretty similar to what they saw in week 14. And you know what happened in week 14 when they played the Giants? Good things for Jalen Hurts. 21 for 31 passing and 7 for 77 rushing. Just the bubble wrap is coming off here. He's averaging 50.7 rushing yards per game. I got to give him a little bit of a boost come playoff time. And I think you're just going to put your quarterback more at risk than you might have during the regular season. They didn't have any regard for his human body during the regular season either. And, his legs are part of what creates him, makes him such a ridiculous asset as a quarterback. Not just the fact that he's improved so much as a pocket passer this season and has A.J. Brown to throw to. Useful. Devonta Smith been great too. But I'm focusing on the rushing yards primarily because the opportunity coming off of another week, getting healthy, this just all projects and leans me towards more rushing yards than what he's had during the regular season. Yes, this is the third time they're facing this Giants team. No, I do not care. I'm just more looking at the week 14 if I'm going to value anything than the week 18 on the season. Very important part of their run game. Fire it up, Philly. Jalen Hurts, more than 50.5 rushing yards for the man. Now, this is a fun one because we are going next to Buffalo, Cincinnati. We all know all the reasons that is going to be far more intriguing. And we're going to go to passing yards. Look at this. We have 275.5 for Joe Burrow. We have 265.5 for Josh Allen. We can combine the two. Wow, that's kind of fun. PrizePicks does cool stuff like this all the time. I'm not even being sarcastic. I just absolutely think there's an edge to be had right here on this one. And we're going less than 545.5 passing yards. What? Eric, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, 2 of the best fantasy quarterbacks year in, year out. Well, 2 years for Joe Burrow, really, because he got hurt. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, phenomenal quarterbacks. Both of these teams had wake-up calls last week. You had Baltimore almost get there with Anthony Brown starting at quarterback. We all know the Lamar Jackson narratives and everything happening there. Cincinnati ran really, really good to have Anthony Brown in the first round. Not as good as Buffalo ran to have Skylar Thompson starting, a third stringer, not Teddy Bridgewater, not Tua Tagovailoa. They had Skylar Thompson, and he looked functional out there, and leading to a little bit of a shootout there. More offense than I was anticipating from the Miami side. But I think these wake-up calls are very important for football teams come playoff time. That's not really backed up by data, more just looking at Joe Burrow and Josh Allen as entities here, where I do think that they are going to be successful to a certain extent. But we're talking about 245 and a half passing yards, and both of these defenses are very, very functional. Cincinnati 11th in power rank on PFF, so just barely outside of the top third. And then Buffalo 6th in defense. And I gotta say, there's a couple of things that I'm leaning on to make this a little bit more advantageous, I think, for the Buffalo side to be successful. And while you're looking at them, being the favorites here in this spot, even if I don't completely agree with 5.5, but that's a conversation for a different show. I'm looking at the passing yards specifically, and Tre'Davious White. This is kind of who I'm highlighting and keying in on. And I try not to key in on individual defenders, but he got burned pretty badly in some spots against Miami, and he's only played 299 snaps of football this year. That's nothing when it comes to like a year in, year out starter. One of the best cornerbacks traditionally when he's healthy. He's fallen to 67th out of 120 graded quarterbacks on PFF. But I kind of don't care because he's getting healthier. He's getting more acclimated, getting snaps under his belt. And there's really no substitute for health and just being on the field. And Jordan Poyer back in action. Sure, they're going to be missing the pass rush. They have been for a long time with no Von Miller out there. Wild to say that he's still so important to that team, or was important to that team for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was. But either way, I'm looking at the pass rush as being a little bit more effective here than maybe last week. Miami's offensive line played really, really well to give Skylar Thompson some time. Baltimore, their defense is ridiculous. But Joe Burrow, I'm not going to say I'm concerned because he's Joe Burrow, and we've seen when he gets it slinging, he gets it slinging. But he did play Baltimore back-to-back weeks. That is a phenomenal defense. So I don't look at 215 yards and 209 yards there and just besmirch anything whatsoever. Buffalo, he looked functional for that, first drive that we saw. They scored the touchdown, then, everything that happened with Damar Hamlin. But we're looking at Cincinnati here. I think just having problems trying to get points on the board in Buffalo. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of snow. Not that I'm going to factor that in too much. For me, I always look at wind. It doesn't look that windy at the moment. So the passing game environment is decent, but I do think Buffalo healthier at the cornerback position. You've had Cincinnati be very functional. Josh Allen, same thing that I talked about with Jalen Hurts. You take the bubble wrap off your quarterbacks in these must-win kind of spots. I expect more than 4 rushing attempts like we saw against Miami last week. They played it a little close to the vest. Think they probably unleash him more in the run game. He's had 9-10 rushing attempts pretty much all season long. 4 was a little bit of an outlier. So that leads to less passing. I'm looking forward to less. I grade out both quarterbacks underneath their numbers, but I'd rather get the entire package, and it's fun. All right. I think I covered enough there for you. Let's go to my last play. And if you saw PrizePicks last week, we went 3 for 4. It was sad, but we started the day off with an absolute banger. Deebo Samuel, he was down at 42.5 receiving yards last week. Look at the adjustment that exists here. We're not going to be going to that one. I want to go to the whole smorgasbord for my guy, number 19, my lucky number 19, red 19, favorite roulette wheel number. You guys don't care about that. Deebo Samuel, though, phenomenal football player. If you watch him play, physical at the point of attack, he's just, you can put him anywhere on the field. They played him at running back, primarily in the divisional round last season against Green Bay. Ended up winning that football game. It was beautiful stuff. Wonder what time Green Bay plays. Oh, yeah, same time the Vikings play, so I can't really make that joke. But Deebo Samuel, I love that he's being on the field a lot more than people probably expected. I was very high on him in week 18, talked about that last week, 68% of the snaps. That went up to 77% of the snaps against Seattle. If he's going to be on the field for 80% of snaps here in a spot against Dallas here, again, they were way up at the end of that game. I think you're looking at Deebo on the field a lot. Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, they are so stacked in the skill position spot. And my boy Brock Purdy from Iowa State, my alma mater, I absolutely love what we're seeing with him, diversifying the portfolio, spreading the ball around, doing interesting things. Shanahan has just caught lightning in a bottle with this kid right now for a third stringer. Pretty unbelievable the difference between third stringer Brock Purdy and a third stringer Skylar Thompson. Sure, the environment's different, but both had pretty good skill position players, and one is doing a lot more with it. So just throwing it out there. Deebo Samuel, though, give me the whole ensemble. We did see him play a couple snaps in the running game there as well, 3 for 32. I want to just capitalize on touchdown equity, which there definitely is with Deebo. Big playability, PPR on Prize Picks. I want to get away from this number at 55.5 that is far more efficient now for receiving yards. That was kind of a freebie last week. Went over 100, just absolutely smashed it. Basically did it all on one play, too, at the end of that game, even though he was already over the prop by the time he hit on that one. But Deebo Samuel, yeah, this is not a Seattle secondary that you're going to be able to just murder the same way. But I do think Deebo Samuel, 13.5 fantasy score is too low. If they try to take Christian McCaffrey, Eli Mitchell, and some of that running game out of play, that's going to open up some things, some quick slants. And Deebo Samuel, after the catch, just a monster. So I think he's going to continue to show why he's one of the best, most electric, most fun players in the NFL to watch. Deebo Samuel rounds out our card. So there you go. Deebo, more than 13.5 fantasy score combined with less for Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. I do think both defenses step up a little bit more, a little bit of a wake-up call last week against some inferior opposition. And Jalen Hurts, this is my favorite of the three. More than 50.5 rushing yards. The bubble wrap is coming off, friends. Let me know what you think of my divisional round plays. If there's any plays you've got your eye on for Prize Picks, let me know in the comment section below. I could possibly add those to my card as well. Always like to talk through certain things. If there's anything that I missed, one other thing I just think is pretty funny here. We have Lawrence Gager at 0.5 fantasy score. I was thinking about taking it over there. Where is he? Lawrence. There you are. Lawrence Gager. There you are. 0.5 fantasy score. How hilarious is that? Just thought I'd throw it out there. Maybe more on a guy who played 33% of snaps last week. But most important thing you can do right now, take advantage of the deposit bonus over at Prize Picks in the comment section below. You deposit 100, you'll get 100 back from Prize Picks. Deposit 20, get 20. Deposit 50, get 50. All good things. All right, y'all. I'll be back for championship weekend next weekend. That'll be a fun one. Sunday, sure, it'll be electric. Until then, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NFL streets this weekend for the divisional round.